us pay attention and be still. Help us do the things you prompt us to, and help us learn from you.
You're welcome to this Sunday of access. The good God, the one who knows our names, every one of us, who desires our well-being more than anyone else. That God is our God, and of his abundant resource, is able to do anything. In the last couple of meetings, last two, we have considered almost unwittingly, non-deliberately, the matter of seeking God versus just asking. And I found myself, by the Spirit, pointing out some things about seeking God. There's an order to seeking God. It's not disorderly. It's a sequence. If you look at the book of Numbers chapter 10, if you are not here on the last week or two, I believe on Wednesday and Friday, and before that, we found the wind blowing the direction of seeking God. We've spoken about asking, seeking, and knocking. Asking, you ask, you open your mouth, you request, and something may be given. When you seek, you search. It requires much more humility. Going down. When you go down and search, on Friday, I believe it was, we saw that to search effectively, you need a light. We saw the woman in the book of Luke, and she took a lamp, she lit it, and then she began to sweep. Multiple actions resulted in her finding it. Luke 15 verse 8.
Or what woman who has 10 silver coins and loses one of them does not light a lamp, sweep her house, and search carefully until she finds it?
10 silver coins, that's no small money. 1 silver coin is a lot of money. And it's precious. Now she lost just one of them. You know, too often 10 represents the completeness. So 10 silver coins would be the complete number of blessings, or the riches from God she's entitled to, the provision of God she's entitled to. That's her entitlement. And she loses them. She loses one of them. You know, some of us, God help us. I didn't say you, I said us, including myself. Some of us lose 7 coins. We search for nothing. Some people lose 9 coins. Some lose the 10. Life goes on. After all, they're going to school. After all, they have a job. After all, they have parents. After all, the woman lost 1 and commenced searching. They are the blessings of God in Christ Jesus that we have been given. There are many things that everyone has been offered by the Lord. There are provisions. God is a spirit. To worship him, you worship him in spirit. So, primary is spiritual provision. There's also physical provision that the Lord has made available. The whole idea is that every good gift, James.What says, every good gift and every perfect gift is from above, from the Father of lights, in whom there's no variableness, no shadow of turning, not like shifting shadows. Of his own will, he gave birth to us, he begat us, and has made us a kind of first fruits of his creation. Gave birth to us through the word of truth. Since the Lord chose to do this to us and for us and through us and in us, we can be sure, if you go back to verse 17, that listen, how do I say this? It is out of this abundance of good and perfect gifts that first he gave us the gift of being what? A kind of first fruits of his creation. You understand that gift? The gift of being a kind of first fruit of his creation. That is not something you're entitled to from birth. It's not. Why would he make you a kind of first fruit? Out of all his creation, why would he choose you and say, hey, you know what, man? I'm going to make you guys the first fruit. Do you understand the idea of the first fruit? The first fruit is the fruit you get from a tree first. When it ripens, the pear, it's pear season. The pear. And in our part of the world, it's often eaten with corn. The Igbos call it ube. Again, ube now. This sister is not agreeing. Oh, which dialect do you speak? Half here. You Central Igbo. Which one is that? Your own is what? You stop. They'll turn all the cameras on you now if you don't answer me. Answer me now that the camera is not looking at you. Say I have power. Watch. That camera is going to go like this now as my finger is pointing. All right, so she said I didn't pronounce it well. You know, there are the people that say aqua, 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 aqua. The same word. Now, the pear is in season. That first batch that is shaken, that falls, or you go up and pluck. That's the first fruit. Now, there will be a lot more pear before the season is over from that tree. Maybe 100 times. Those first few ones that ripen. Could be mangoes, could be udara, balumo, could be anything else. It could be corn, the corn that was large first and you plucked it, shocked it, cooked it. That's the first fruit. God made us a kind of first fruits of his creation, the ones he plucked first. You know, Jesus didn't come to save only mankind. If you look at the book of Romans chapter 8, it says creation is groaning and waiting for the manifestation of the sons of God. They are waiting for the first fruit of his creation. That's the sons of God. They wait in eager expectation. Creation. Remember, he said he gave us to be a kind of first fruits of his creation. And then he's telling you in Romans chapter 8 verse 19 that the creation waits in eager expectation for the revelation of the sons of God. Why? And he tells you in the next verse about creation. For the creation was subjected to futility, not by its own will. Do you remember he said of his own will, he made us a kind of first fruit? Have you seen creation was subjected to a condition, not by its own will? It didn't will to be in this situation. Creation did not stand up and say, you know what? All the things that God made, if you've read Genesis 1, what happens at the end of everything? He says, and God saw it was good. It was good. It was good. It was good. Creation did not want to become subject to futility. It wanted to be good. You know how you talk to someone, how are you doing? You say, I'm good. Creation was good. Then something came in between and took creation from being good to feeling futile, hopeless, purposeless. So you can see a tree grow. You're like, fruit, come now. Come now. Come now. You say, this one is not the good time. Cut it down. Some will come out. All sorts of blight. We call it blight. The blight strikes it. Mankind comes, tampers with it, does all sorts of experiments. The corn grows. Who has seen this? And nothing. Very green like this. Where the corn? You're like, oh corn. What happened here? Who has seen this horrible thing? Very green with no corn. That's what the Bible is telling you. There is not creation's fault. I should tell you whose fault it is. Somebody is involved. One of the creation is this one that likes to tamper. Don't touch. Let me just. So it wasn't creation that willingly. Creation without its will being involved became subjected. But because of the one who subjected it in hope, God allowed creation to become subjected. But he gave creation hope that the creation itself will be set free from its what? bondage to decay. This is the futility that you're growing. You were created and then you are decaying, dying. Even mankind, the ones who were supposed to be that first fruit, you look at your life and it seems it's deteriorating, going backwards, badly, worse and worse. Your thinking, worse and worse. Your health, worse and worse. Different parts of you going worse and worse and worse. It ought not to be. God's plan is to set it free from this bondage to decay. It's like it's tied. Decay is tied to it. Bondage to something. You're bonded to it. Do you understand? Or somewhere it means to be in bondage to something. It means to be tied to something. That's what it means to be in bondage. Husbands and wives are in bondage to each other. That's what makes them overreact sometimes. It's like, and I'm tied to you. And their great annoyance and pain is the fact that they are tied to you. If it's a friend, you're like, when it's a spouse, it shouldn't be. Should be happy together, but I'd like to explain why. Because some of you have asked, God, why? Why is it like this? Why was it like this with my parents, with this person, with this auntie, with this uncle? Why do spouses, why do they love themselves so much? What's happening? It is the bonding. They know they are bound. They know they can't separate without lots of noise. If they could do it quietly, wouldn't mind so much. If it wouldn't cause ripples. If they weren't afraid of God being angry with them. But bondage to something always creates a desperation. Bondage to anything creates a desperation within the person that is bound to it. When you hear of wives poisoning husbands, you don't hear of 90-something%, but the 1% you hear of, or less than 1% of women that put poison for their husband. He ate it and died slowly till he died. They say he died from sickness, but on judgment day you find out how he died. On the day of judgment you'll be weak. I don't know if it's worse now, but in history it must have been pretty bad. And you're wondering, how do you know? Let's wait now. On judgment day, you know. If you like, go accuse someone, you know. That one you're looking at me silently like that. Instead of laughing, you're just looking at me seriously. As I accuse someone, you know. Wait till judgment day. And they say, when they get to the murderer section, murderers, yes, please. All right, let's do it this way. By shooting. That is armed robber. Armed robbers. This way. You kill people by shooting. Yes. Come on. Murderers by stabbing. Especially the people from the UK, yes? Europeans, yeah, others you can join. The shooting. I hope all the Americans, okay. All right, good. Now, the poisoners, the women, the poisoners. That day, I will see something. Just look for me. Look for me in the crowd. Can't say, how do you know? I'll tell you, common sense. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes. Why? Because the woman is weaker. She can't beat. Many women have died from their husbands physically beating them or striking them with something. Many women. That's how they died. But since the woman can't kill her husband like that, she has to use this softer approach. So throughout history, there have been. There's one woman, I've forgotten how many she killed. One fat woman, her picture, she was even ugly, fat like this. One white woman. I don't know how many men, not less than 5, if not 11, I can't remember. A lot. Just kept you marry them and poison them. Collect all the own, marry them, poison. You're just going through men like you go through a packet of biscuits. Our calling is to find God. We are to seek him until we find him. He gives us the things that are good. He supplies it out of his resources. Mankind, through sin, brought all of creation under a bonding, a time that creation wants to be free from. Now, in this case, it is not marriage of man and woman. It is creation's joining to something called decay. King James may say corruption. It does not mean bribes. That's the more proper rendition of that expression. What you call corruption in Nigeria is graft. Graft. In case you're reading, non-Nigerian writing, so you understand. Graft is not fraud in a specific sense, even though there may be fraudulence. The bondage of corruption. Corruption is that which makes something break down. It's what happens to your tomatoes if you keep it outside. You just keep it on that for a long time. Then with time you see fungus begins to grow and things. Good. That is corruption happening. Whenever you see that word in the Bible, that's, understand, in King James, that's it. It's perishability. The fact that that thing can perish. Non-perishable goods. Perishable goods. That's what mankind has been joined to. Creation has been joined to this ability to break down, to go downwards, to go from a good state to a bad state. That's the condition that sin brought the world into. Anything, it doesn't matter what we touch, what is in this world, without the power of life in Christ Jesus that pushes it in the opposite direction, everything is dying, is being corrupted, is perishing. Is this clear? Everything. There's nothing. So in marriage, woo-hoo! I mean, you do care paradise. You do care paradise. You do care paradise. Who does that song? Okay. I heard it once in my life. So it's a real song. I almost thought that man invented it. Okay. So in our village church in the 80s, me and you would be in paradise. So on the wedding day, that's how it is. I mean, you know how the couple does it now? Me, I just walked. They told me, slow down. I said, let's welcome the groom. Bah, bah. Women dance now. Why must everybody dance? Is that what I came for? Men are not like women. Everybody has. I can only do things when I'm yabbing someone. Anyways, that is how it was at the beginning. Great hopes. And what happens? Corruption. And that thing starts decaying. Woo, I have admission. Woo! I'm going to class. Every day after classes, I go bath, eat, and go to class and study. You've forgotten where you are. You're on earth to be corrupt. I'm going to be a very good person. As you see me, I will never do this. I will never do that. I'm going to do this and that. This is my mindset. I've decided it, and that is that. Corruption takes hold on that mindset. If you've ever watched a time-lapse video on corruption, find me on YouTube now. A time-lapse video, just say time-lapse. Food, a short one, sped up, time-lapse video. Everything goes down. It's the condition of this earth. Now, do you know why there are things like fridges? A fridge tries to change the circumstances. It creates cold, and a freezer is even far colder and stops the action of nature. Something external to that which is natural is brought into the picture. Now, Ice will help. Salt is also something that will help preserve things. Because fungus will grow on things. Things that are antifungal are less prone to grow mold. Mucor, not mucus, mucor. MUCUR. Those little plants. Fungi are plants. Fungal infection. You're a small garden. We look well. Sounds terrible, right? Spores drop in and then seeds. Then it starts growing. Okay? That's a watermelon exposed to the elements. This is a slow one. Do you see that? That's a fungus. That's a spores. Okay? It's growing. So they've kept a camera on it. I don't know how long, how many days, how many hours, but that is nature working on it. It's automatic. You don't need to do anything. These spores, these things that landed on it and grew, that you said, this thing has mold, MOLD, is flying around in the air all the time. When you see, have you seen things wrapped? Have you seen when they wrap it with waterproof? Do you now understand why? They stopped nature from reaching it casually. You stopped the spores that were flying through the air. Okay, I found a bunch of fruit. How selfish of you. You found one fruit. You hate watermelon. What do you have against watermelon? There's the one where there should be a bunch of fruits. I saw a BBC documentary, I think it was many years ago, called The Science of Decay or something like that. And it was a full room of things. And they kept cameras everywhere and left it there. Everything in the room. Some faster than some. When something has antifungal properties, let's say like bitter cola, that most of you don't know the finer things of life. Bitter cola. Why it can stay for a good while? It's because it's antifungal. And when something is antifungal, it fights its fungus comes and say, may I grow here now? The thing said no. Because it contains antifungal properties. It's pushing back. So there are bacteria too. It's not just fungus. Bacterium. There's viruses, other pathogens, things flying through all the time. So when the Bible says death entered the world, sin brought death. It's when the Bible says there's a second death, we are under the first death. It's not when you drop death. Right now, the whole earth, this is the effect of Satan. When you, to whom you submit yourself, servants to obey, servants you are. So when Adam and Eve submitted to Satan, he has authority, the serpent. He has authority. Dust will be your food. Man, from dust you were made, to dust you return. So Satan has power. All creation, 1 John 5, lies under the power of the wicked one. The wicked one, the serpent, has power to feed on mankind. Your desires, your what you call your normal desire, but you corrupt it. So he lost whatever certain attributes he had, and now he had to crawl on his belly. Where? Verse 14, Genesis 3. So the Lord God said to the serpent,
because you have done this, cursed are you above all livestock and every beast of the field. On your belly you will go, and dust you will eat all the days of your life.
On your belly you will go, and dust you will eat all the days of your life. He tells Adam also, a few verses from there. He tells Adam,
and to Adam he said, because you have listened to the voice of your wife and have eaten from the tree of which I commanded you not to eat, cursed is the ground because of you. Through toil you will eat of it all the days of your life. Both thorns and thistle it will yield for you, and you will eat the plants of the field. By the sweat of your brow you will eat your bread, until you return to the ground. Because out of it you were taken, for dust you are, and to dust you shall return.
And what is creeping around on his belly in the dust? The serpent. And the belly, he eats dust. So man that is just dust man that is just natural, just thinking of what to eat, just pursuing physical things, will be food, prey for the serpent. You are easy prey. The serpent easily accesses you and consumes you. When you see mankind that has not learned the ways of God properly, Philippians 3 tells you that your God is your belly. The problem is that the serpent, the devil, roams around with his belly on top of you. Since all of you do belly stuff, you run after your belly. Satan runs after you. He feeds on you. You are his nourishment. So how did Jesus come to save us? Those who worship God must worship in spirit and in truth. You must ascend above dust. Your mindset, Romans 8, for to be carnally minded, earthly minded is death. But to be spiritually minded is life and peace. This is the only way we can make a bit of peace, life and peace for ourselves in this time. You can't live for the dust. You just feed Satan's purposes. You won't even know. Satan's will be accomplished in your life. He will consume you because you're earthly minded. So you return to dust. When you return to dust, he'll consume you. Take note. He said, to dust you will return. Have you heard me talk about death? Have you heard? That's what death does. Death returns things to dust. So if you are a dust man, that's a physically minded man, a carnally, that's what the word carnal means. The only way to ascend out of this, Genesis 3:14-19, is to become a descendant of 1 Corinthians 15. Not the first Adam, but the last Adam. The last Adam is the Lord Jesus Christ. In 1 Corinthians 15, there's a list, a comparative list. Verse 45 says,
so it is written, the first man, Adam, became a living being. The last Adam, a life-giving spirit.
So the first Adam is a living being. Nobody is doubting that you're living, but you are a dust man. The Bible tells you that the first man is earthy. But this last Adam, who is the Lord Jesus Christ, is a life-giving spirit. He says he's from above. The earthy man, verse 47.
The first man was of the dust of the earth, the second man from heaven.
The first man is of the dust of the earth. What's the second man from?
From heaven.
Where's heaven? Above. God is a spirit. Above. Look at me, everyone. Hey, if you are an earthly man, all you think about is the physical realm. I am sorry. You will be forage, food, that which the devil can consume. You will always be. It's his right to consume you. You are in his space. His realm is the dust. You are a dust man. You are in his space. So you and him will be dragging here and there till he decides how to swallow you. Serpents don't fly in the sky, catching things out of the air. So for you to become food for the serpent, you must be in his realm. The rats, the mice, the lizard. Yes? The earthbound creature. How many birds have you seen a snake catch? It will have to climb a tree and go. And a tree is something that is linked to the earth. If that bird was beyond that realm, he would be completely free. When you become a man of the spirit, you are born of the last Adam. That's the Lord Jesus. You are born again. What the Bible calls being born anew. Born from above. That's the literal translation. To be born from above. No more from beneath. Dust you are, dust. When you become born from anew, that's what it means to be born again. That's why you should be born again. Then you are saying, God, I want to be born a second time. That one that my parents did, John chapter 3, that which is born of the flesh is flesh. Your father and mother are flesh, but that which is born of the spirit is spirit. God is a spirit, so you must be born of God. If you are born of God, something happens. God has put something in you, hey, that has the power to escape the serpent. There is no hope for an earth-born person to escape the serpent. You can't. It's impossible. You are born of the earth. You cannot escape the serpent. You're in his domain. But if you're born of the spirit, I know we still have to be on earth. John 17, the Lord said, you are in the world, but you are not of the world. So we can be in this world, but not be of it. You share the capacity to eat food like a man. After the Lord Jesus rose from the dead with a transformed body, he still asked, what do you have to eat here? He took it and ate it. He said, look, I am flesh and bone. The capacity to consume that which is earthly is our right, because the earth he made for man. Remember, we are the firstborn of his creation. Firstborns inherit a double portion. Are you listening? So we are entitled to the earth. It's not like God says, no, I don't want you to eat. I don't want you eating food here. Wait till you meet me. If you do that, you meet him very fast. It will be too fast. No, he wants you eating. He wants you functional in this space now. But he wants you to understand that this space is still under the tenancy of Serpento. Do you understand? Should I call him Dragon? No. I just was talking about the dragon the other day in the marriage committee. I just finished telling them about, I talked about someone that God had opened his eyes. I said they saw dragons on the buildings. His eyes were open for 30 days. He saw big snakes wrapped around skyscrapers in New York, those kinds of places. Dragons sitting on the buildings. And he had to say, God, please close my eyes. I can't survive. Because the spirit realm is so busy. So busy. I just finished saying that. The meeting finished. I went in to have a bath. I was in the bathroom. As usual, I look for something for my finger to press while I'm having a bath. A message, short, usually something short, 5 minutes, 7 minutes, something. And I saw the dragon is here, Jonathan Khan. And I just finished saying the ballon, clicked on it, and he was posting pictures of the adverts of either a movie or a game, a video game, Game of Thrones or something. And yours, don't watch that thing. And yours truly. The adverts have physical dragons on skyscrapers with tails like a snake, mighty, wrapped around it. I could not believe it. And the advert is saying, okay, find it, saying you must choose. Now again, it sounds like nothing to you, but when you just finished talking about something and then you turn and see it physically, I don't know if they've ever done such an habit. It's so crazy. It is so creepy. But more important, that was me prophesying it. If you think it is about that movie, you are asleep. You are asleep while sitting up. You're absolutely asleep. No. The dragon is going to show himself. Oh, have I been talking about Antichrist? Beast. People will bow. Have I been saying it anyhow? I had no idea of that thing. Signs. Have I been telling about signs? This is Monday. Last week. Said everyone must choose. Exactly what I've been saying. They are saying it from the other side. In choosing, you shall choose. Say me, see me. This church I came to, I don't want all this deep thing. You will be deep in one side or the other. In being deep, you shall be deep. It's the side you'll be deep on. The only thing I appeal, please, if you choose the side of darkness and they send you to fight Christians, don't come to us, our side. Because I knew you, I'll kill you. Go somewhere else. Go to another side. I said, God, if that person was in my space and I labored for them, kill the demon. If the human follows, let it follow. Because you be extra foolish. Don't come here. Go to Cameroon and be a wizard. Don't come to this place. I'll take it personally. Say you're the one they sent. In this last battle. Die now. That's how you drop. They don't carry like that. They might tell you, you're the first person he has killed. Though. Why did you go? Don't choose evil. That's a veiled threat. I'm saying you should not choose evil. Don't choose evil. If evil is... if you found Jonathan Kahn, it would have been cool now. Multi-headed. Look at that. No, we can't play it. Look at that. That's real. That's not a drawing. Pause it, it will skip. That's a dragon, a green dragon. But it's red in most other places. Keep going. Look at the tail wrapped around all the way up there. Look at that. Keep going. Skip forward a bit. They are on different things. It's on Wall Street, the adverts. And I want to see that place where he said, everyone must choose. No, this was the arch of... So years ago, pause it. While you guys were arguing about... Was it in lockdown? The kingdom of darkness. It was in lockdown. While people were arguing about something to do with Trump also. They carried the arch. The ancient archway. That thing you just saw, like a doorway arch like that. From ancient Babylon or wherever. They carry it to different cities in America. They'll carry it here. Then they'll carry it here. And people are saying, hey, to be blind and stupid on top. I kept wondering, do they think they are carrying around to show you this how it looks? These guys are carrying a mobile portal. There's a picture I saw, I don't know if anyone saw the video, where someone insisted, they slowed it down, said, look at two black things just flew out of that thing. Like black smoke. And everybody is still busy saying, you see all these things are not real. While the enemy is very busy, the enemy is a busy enemy. I mean the serpent, he's now the dragon. In the book of Revelation, it tells you that the ancient serpent is the great red dragon. Keep going. He didn't find the place where it's red. On Wall Street, it's there. Some Wall Street, yeah, that's it. Around just some major buildings. All must choose. Did you hear that? That's the multi-headed serpent. Multi-headed. We have read about him briefly. That the woman sat, Mystery Babylon sat on him. Many heads. Says all must choose. You're covering us. All must choose. Is it not exactly what I've been telling you? I say you must take a side. Me, I'll never be. See, this God is not for everybody. But me, I can never follow the devil. You have finished following. You just haven't gotten the alert. You have finished following. I'll not follow. You have finished following. Listen, someone said I'm sitting on the fence. They say Satan owns the fence. You didn't hear? I'm sitting on the fence. Which fence? The fence. Someone owns it. I'll not take a side. You must choose a side. And I would advise you choose the side of God, because the end of this battle is already written. It was written thousands of years ago. God wins. You didn't hear? Now God wins. No? God wins. God wins. It doesn't matter how you twist, turn, what it tells you. God wins. God will win. God is not like when we say, okay, God and Satan are fighting. God and Satan are not fighting. Angel Michael and Satan are fighting. Do you hear? The only person that is what's his name? Revelations 12. The dragon and his angels fight. Is Michael and his angels. He doesn't fight Jesus. There's no fight. Nobody is even calling the Father into that matter. It does not even exist. It doesn't even come up. So if you're crazy and your brain sees strange things, say, this thing is between God and Satan. Don't talk nonsense before a little piece of lightning misses road. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragons and his angels fought back in Revelation 12:7. That's the only guy you can say, okay, you get small power, I get power, and Michael beat him. Michael won him. So Jesus doesn't fight like that. The Bible tells you he fights with the sword of his mouth. In chapter 19, when he comes out, the Bible says he comes out, then a sword goes out of his mouth. That's all. He's riding on the horse. He just goes, He comes with people following, but they don't do anything. So Jesus does not fight. All things were made by him. Which fight? Say, see this thing, I see the struggle is serious. Which struggle? This struggle we are allowed. This struggle we are undergoing is a struggle of, go back to Romans 8, is a training of the sons of God, the ones he wants to rule with. That's all. That's why we go through things. For the person wondering, but why does God allow us to go through? He's training us. He wants us to be worthy to rule by his side. Small. Do you understand? He wants you to be worthy. He doesn't. He said, God, why don't you just answer my prayer and resolve all my issues? It's like, where's the fun in that, bro? Come on, you need look at your arms. Wimpy. Yeah. Very little muscle here. Yeah. So he pushes you into all sorts of dangerous situations. Knowing that inside there you're going to be forced to can. Hey, that is why you see Christians enter situations and sometimes they are defeated. That situation came and they stopped going to church. They stopped reading their Bible. They stopped trusting God. They backslid. And you're like, how could God allow that? It's not fake training. It's real training. Live bullets. That's how they used to train commandos in the early days. The British SAS. Those guys were crazy. They would train their commando category, the Green Beret category, the elite soldiers. They would train with real bullets, not blanks. God, the commander of the host of heaven, I apologize, is given to rough play. Who has gone through anything? Did it seem fake? Did it seem like a cartoon to you? Have you gone through anything? It's easy to say, when we preach as we stand here, thank God for the light and understanding, but the thing is not funny. You look at here like, this thing, I've heard you, Pastor. I'm encouraged when I'm hearing you. The problem is after the meeting. Wait, you mean this thing you mean this extra year? Wait, I've seen God keep people for an extra year or two. He does it very calmly. Your emotions are all what? Very calmly. It's almost a time came with some of our people. It's very calm. It's like, no. You can't leave. How are you going to leave? No, you're going to stay for one extra. I need you around. Where's your training? First time I saw this sister. It's not you. This Annette, yeah. First time ever. First timer. Never seen that before. What did I say?
You spoke about having a clean house, a house that had been newly cleaned, and
A house that
had been newly cleaned,
newly cleaned,
tidied, and what I was doing about it.
and what you're doing about it.
Yes, sir.
What about the talk about that you go dig ground? So you can't remember that part. It wasn't you. It was.
So, but I'm ground. I'm on ground.
It's you now. At least I remember it faintly. I was praying. We used to pray for first timers in the other hall downstairs. You know, and I remember praying. And in my mind, I remember saying something like, God may need to keep you for a while. She had one course to do also. Who was there when I prayed for her? Sister Tochi, who is in Abuja now. You know, and I remember because at the time I don't think it was, things were not clear yet, you know, and you weren't too sure. They had some course or something, and you had gotten saved some time before, but you hadn't grown much. And I said something to the effect of, you should have come before. You should have. You're remembering. You always remember slowly, and all that, and so on. But there was all this thing about being that she wasn't ready to leave. So God finds it very easy. Just uses one small hook, just throws it there. You, oh God, all my mates. And in your mind, you think God goes, hey, yeah, it's true. Who is our personal angel? Come, let's leave her. Let my people go. No. If you see God, if you see how sometimes He's smiling while you're crying, you're all rolling the door. God is like, you will survive. Nobody leave it. There's nothing. Like, if you even understood this thing, you won't waste your time making so much noise. He's not planning to change any. Except, I've told you before, God forgive me for telling all these secrets. Except you say, God, I've told people, you want to be free of some of this God's training. Stand like that and say, God, I don't want anything to do with you. Just leave me alone completely. I don't want to stay an extra semester or year to know you. All that training, that thing that man said. Free me. If you have a hand in this, free me. They'll call you, your lecturer will call you tomorrow and say, we made a mistake in your result. They just correct you, bundle you off and send you. You will know there's a you think God doesn't, how do I say this? Pull these kind of shenanigans. Have you read your Bible? He does all the time. You say, I failed. Who told you failed? When you wrote it, did you feel like you failed? Did you feel like you failed? When you wrote that exam, you came out, you were smiling, the other person was shaking. They passed. Is it everything you don't know? After a while, you have to have sense. You look at it and say, maybe it's because of how I spoke to them. Maybe it was, how did you speak to them? Yeah, look at the way my uncle reacted and kicked me out of the house. It's my fault. I didn't raise my voice when I said good morning. If you think, well, you remember a time 2 years before where you wouldn't even greet him and talk to him for days. They didn't kick you out. Now that you're trying to please Jesus, they kick you out. Your funny brain concludes, it must be because I didn't greet loudly enough. When you used to go, he didn't kick you out. Come on. Be real. Stop blaming yourself for everything. You're not in charge as much as you think. Creation did not yield willingly. Are you understanding? There's hands beyond. You're telling me Job did what? Have you read the book of Job? Job did what? What exactly did he do that you have not done a billion times? That small headache you had, tiny ringworm, one place. Job was sick from head to toe. If Job lost children, you should have lost. They should have found your bones. So forget about everything's according to what you deserve. There's God's school. There's God's classes. There's the other part of God. There's the other part. where he's saying, you will be here, you'll be here. You need to learn this, you need to learn that. You, in the future, you need to show compassion to these kinds of people. So let me give you some practical internship. You experience this kind of thing. Just how long? Let's see. Let's start with 2 years. In your mind, you would think, why would God do that? Why shouldn't he? Who did you say you were again? If they ask you, say you're a child of God. So let daddy call the shots. This is the educational curriculum he has picked for you. You go through here and go through. And I told you, God is very big. So he does his things like a big God. He can calmly, I apologize for what I'm about to say. Hey, God. It's a combination of factors. But if you needed to be an orphan for that training to work well, he might invite people upstairs earlier than normal. But for the law to be fulfilled, sometimes, he made sure that the parties involved contributed their quota. You know how you contribute your quota? You sin and deserve it. Or you are ignorant of how to be free. And so things happened. And people were taken away. It could have been worked differently. Oh. There are so many ways to handle a thing. But the God who has plans, the God who has plans. We saw a movie the other day called Cabrini. You have to watch it. In fact, I will impose it. You go to technical people, they'll give you Cabrini. And it's about a nun. She was sick, her lungs were weak. They gave her 5 years. The doctor in America said, no, sorry, it's 2 years, maybe 3 if you rest. Immediately they finished telling her, she said, I guess I have to go to work. She lived for a total of about 28 more years. Someone they gave 2 years, 5, 3. She lived 28. Before she died, what she accomplished. And you wonder, but why did God have to deal with? She had drowned or fallen into water when she was young, so her lungs were compromised. She had tubercular, some condition to do with her lungs. So she had this horrible cough and all that. Didn't stop her. She went on to become the first woman to head and order a community of Christian workers, the first female to head an order in the Roman Catholic Church. Protestants don't have orders. Everybody's free in Jesus' name. Free. We are free to do nothing for God. Free. And I'm free. These guys went on to feed the poor. Went on to care for immigrants and developed the largest charity network. That sick woman, that sick girl, that sick woman. What do you say is your problem again? We have no excuses. If anything, we have a problem. Our lives are often too comfortable. If you think problems are an excuse, usually God actually allows problems as training to make you extra capable, to make you extra tough, to have no reason to complain. If you've experienced plenty hunger, then you can go out. You want to do God's will, then your stomach says, you know, we have not eaten. You say, what are you talking about? We have experience. We have a PhD in being hungry. What are you talking about? I'll preach to 5 more people. What are you talking about hunger for? Hunger, you lack respect. Is it not you that me that have been housemates for how long? Hunger, know your place. Know your place. These 7 years, we have been acquainted. We sleep on the same bed. Hunger. Suddenly, you want to pack and leave me. Stay in one place. In preaching, we are preaching. Cannot allow, I would have preached now, but I need to eat. So that training, I'm like, no, what good? All things work together for good to those who love God. Everything. Have you gone through it before? It's likely training. I didn't like it. It's training still. It's painful. Still training. You learn to write exams, go to school through pain, having a headache while reading. That tells you can read your Bible even with a headache or noise. Don't watch Game of Thrones, oh. If it's connected to that man, waiting be Martin, something Martin, the man that wrote that thing. When you collect them, who knows how many demons spread through that thing in this world? I know there's usually incest in it. And they are very immoral and they show things. I won't ask you to raise your hand if it corrupted your brain years ago. Don't say, no, I just like, don't be stupid. Corrupt your brain. Don't drink poison. Go and watch Lord of the Rings. The original one. Lord of the Rings. You might learn something good. Watch Chronicles of Narnia or read it. It's better you read it. All these Hollywood people, they like corrupting things. That movie is called Cabrini. It's very nice. By the same people that made Sound of Freedom. Angel Studios. I made The Chosen, which I've not watched, but if I can't watch in this age, if I can't watch in the next age, I'll watch our Lord Jesus straight. As some of you have watched. Same studio. So it's clean, it's real, it's based on, it's a true story. It's amazing. So challenging. So challenging. Listen to me. We must be born from above to escape the clutches, the influence of the serpent. The power that was released on this earth, the power of destruction and deterioration, is at work. It settles on everything. People, we have to overcome it. How? By being connected to the power that raised Jesus from the dead. Romans 8 says, if the same spirit that raised Jesus from the dead abides within our mortal bodies, within us, there's a capacity. It's called the Spirit of God. It can reverse that which is negative and work in us that which is positive. Verse 11.
And if the spirit of him who raised Jesus from the dead is living in you, he who raised Christ Jesus from the dead will also give life to your mortal bodies.
He will also give life to your mortal bodies through his spirit who lives
in you.
If that spirit could counter the work of death of Satan in the earth, yes? If that spirit could raise Jesus, a dead body, he's saying that if it's in you, it can also give life to our mortal bodies. To do what? To do the will of God. It can give you life to overcome the desire to live for your belly. It can provide you what you need. The average person runs after money like they are mad, as though they can eat currency. Who has chewed money before? Can you chew money? The average person acts like that. I need money. It must be money. If I have money, money is not what you need. You need provision. And God is able to supply all your need according to his riches in glory. So what you need is God. Man does not live by bread alone, which is why we till the soil and work, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God. Where is God? God is a spirit. My words which I speak to you, John says, they are spirit and they are life. We live by the word of God. So watch. Instead of following Satan and eating from things that have their roots in the dust, why do you not look to God and survive? Deuteronomy 8, based on the things which his mouth says. Deuteronomy 8 verse 3.
He humbled you, and in your hunger he gave you manna to eat, which neither you nor your fathers had known, so that you might understand that man does not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of the Lord.
Every word that comes from the mouth of the Lord. Every word. That's how man lives. He said, no, how was I to survive? You should have survived from the mouth of the Lord. Should have found your way to the face of the Lord, where his mouth is, and said, Lord, I have come. Speak, for your servant hears. And the Lord would have told you, like he told Elijah, go, I have prepared birds to feed you. Wait by the brook Kerith. Where did this happen before? Nowhere. Wait by the brook Kerith. So he went and stayed there, and ravens brought him bread morning and evening. Food. 1. 2. Move now. And he drank from the brook. 2. A widow woman. I've prepared her to cater for you. He gets there. The woman says, the food I have is the last food. Let me complete the sentence. So I don't know who you say spoke to you, because the food is 1 cup of gari I want to make and eat, me and my child. After that, there's no more food. They said, I am the one to supply you. The man said, as the Lord lives, do it for me first. I'm telling you that food will not dry up. And food refused to finish in a container. Every time they fetched out the flour, it was filled up again. It would never finish. The oil refused to finish. People have experienced this. It is God that supplies. Brother Sadhu Selvaraj said he went to stay in someone's house. The person told him, okay, the people were traveling to Europe for a vacation. He wanted to wait on the Lord. He was in the US. So they loaned him his house, their house. Said, okay, this is it. There's a shop there. When you need fresh milk, there's only this jar of milk. You know how? A jar of fresh milk. It's in the fridge. When you run out, you just dash out to this shop. It's close by. Buy another jar, okay? That's all. They travel. I can't remember, 2 weeks, 1 month, 21 days, a long period. It was maybe 30 days. He was fasting and praying on the Lord. But you have tea. You drink tea. You drink tea with milk, He kept doing that. Kept doing that. Kept doing that. He never went to the shop once. Now, I don't care if you doubt it. That's your problem. You haven't seen God multiply things. We have seen God do impossible. There are things that are impossible that have happened in our spaces. When impossible things have happened around you, when someone else tells you an impossible thing, you're not quick to doubt it. Acting like, how can that happen? Why should it not happen? He was in that house. He said, the day the owners came back, he watched that jar of milk dry up in his face. He went like this, brrr, as they were entering the compound. The jar of milk went, bzz, behaved itself. But when they came, they saw only 1 empty milk jar. He had used 1 milk jar for about a month, if I'm not wrong. If not 40 days, actually. Likely was 40 days. They never finished. So it's not like the God of those days. During the Indonesian revival, they ran out of food. They had a little bread made from tapioca, like your bread. That's cassava flour. Bread. You thought your own was wheat? Who knows? No, I'm a man. No. Hey, yeah. Okay, so when they send you to buy wheat bread, it's just... You guys think your bread is wheat? Who knows that they sell wheat bread? Okay, if that is wheat bread, then your own is what? I cannot be teaching you people everything for free. Now I have to be charging you guys money. Where's the basket? Wait, if it is wheat bread, then what is wheat bread? That special bread that people that claim they have issues buy. That one is now what? Nobody's talking. I ask you this side, silence. I ask you this side, silence. Choose a side. Everyone must choose. Hello, cassava bread. You need Don't act as though it's poverty. They export it. They use it to make bread in other countries too. What are you saying? Why do you think they buy our stuff? You think it's for clothes? It's very nice to knock people a peg or two down. Boom, boom. When you're thinking, bread is made from wheat. Wheat. Don't ask for wheat bread. Buy that one. That is wheat. All right. Whatever. Whether it's corn, they used to make your bread. Flour can be made into bread. Any kind of flour. You should know that. Anything that is turned into powder and dry can be converted into a form of bread. Get used to the idea. In case you hit hard times, I wonder what shall we eat? They are not even selling bread. Make your own bread now. Sometimes I'm prophetic when I say these crazy things. So somebody better go and learn how to make bread for everything. Where are we? The man. Who was I talking about? Indonesian revival, they stood there, they didn't have food. They took bread. That's how I know how Jesus multiplied the 5,000 loaves. They had a loaf of bread and they had a jug of milk. That's all. 50 people. They prayed. I can't remember how I started, but they said, bring your cup. The person there with the bread broke it like this. Said every time they broke it, it was whole again. Every time. So they just kept doing that. Into a tray. And it was a lot of bread. Then the jug, they poured the milk. People came with the cup, they poured. It never stopped. There was always milk in it. They poured like that. People came back again, poured till you were full to overflowing. Everybody ate. The bread remained at the end. This is in the 50s, 60s, when there was a mighty move of God in the most populated Muslim country on earth, Indonesia. Because it's the same God. Same God. Midnight hour.
Same God who is here in times of lack and want. It's the same God.
Okay, I forgive.
Tell me why you giving up on God.
Who be that?
Giving up on me.
Yes, don't give up. Tell me why you giving up on God.
Hold on, change is
On the way, it is enough. Shukun on so, ogini musobugi, imana oya digide. One more, jideseke, ichayadiye. They ran out of song. I love this song. It doesn't mean I sing it, but I like it. Yeah, so that's for somebody. Don't give up on God. Come on, don't be ridiculous. Do you know what God did to you? God did what to you? Has he done anything to you? We beat you, you know God has done something. God has not done anything to you. In fact, what you have done would have carried you way beyond into deeper pain. It's because God is even preventing. Baby says, let me use the opportunity to throw in a few classes. Come on, appreciate your teachers. Are you hearing me? Appreciate your teachers. God is working and work within us. Are we good? We need to live and develop our spirit man, the spirit realm. Ascend above the realm of the serpent. Don't think, what will I eat? What will I drink? God will provide. He said, if I can do it for birds, Matthew 6, can't I do it for you? Stop giving excuses. You have treated God lightly. You have despised him. He has every right. He promised he would despise you. You are to be treated lightly. You're not a serious. You treat him lightly. He should treat you lightly. Why should he treat you any other way? Is it like your words matter much? They don't. His words don't matter much to you. Why should your words matter much? The maker of heaven and earth, your words should matter. His words don't matter. What kind of disorderliness is that? Regard God. Regard God. I have seen and heard and experienced. Oh, I was in lack. I was this and that. We've seen God do everything. So do not tell stories. They gave me plain rice to eat. Rice, maybe palm oil rice or something. It was nice rice. Whatever, they just brought it. I went like, oh God. How it would be so nice if there was banana here. I don't know if I finished banana from my window, just like that. I just saw a keke with ripe yellow bananas, a big bunch. The person walked across like this. I told the person I was giving, I think I was saying, maybe the person, it would be nice if the banana, can't bring those bananas. I've seen God do those kinds of things. Do not tell me stories about how, if you don't have money, we buy banana. You don't need money to eat banana. You need God. Now, who are the people I prayed for the other day and I said something about that? I said you need to learn to ask God for the thing, not for money. Who was here? When did I pray that? 1 week ago? Now, how many of you have a testimony from that? You went, it was your first time. You didn't know this before and you went and experienced it. You asked God for the thing. You didn't ask for money and he showed. Let me see if there is a hand here. One hand there at that end. Copycat hand. The end. So what did you ask for? Shout it. Data. And the data landed. Not money. You got data. No. Oh, you needed data. Money came for data. I don't want that type. I want the one where you got the thing. Money is easy. Money is everywhere. Yes? Shoes. You got shoes. You wanted shoes. You asked for shoes. You told someone, give me shoes. They gave you. You didn't tell. They don't call you. Take shoe. Yes? Fruit.
I didn't have money to buy it, so I was like, God, I'm not eating food and I don't have money. So I entered my room and my roommate bought, not my roommate, my friend, they came with plenty fruits. Like I ate cucumber, watermelon, and pineapple. I didn't buy it with my money.
And you tell us now, right? Okay, fine. So awesome. So hear that. So she says in now again, I'm saying that for these new people, they are visitors. The people that are in this church is normal because they heard it long ago. So they stop asking for money. They tell God, I want something. It appears the strangest things you can imagine. So you don't know and hear these kinds of things over and over again and still having your heart. No, it's not like that in this life. What can you do without money? I'm living in a house, I don't pay rent. I was called and given the house, live here. Last house I was living in has 3 bedrooms. This one has 6. Don't say that you must. I've told you stories. I shouldn't be telling these stories again. Oh, you must. Hey, how will you survive? Told you my first cars. I went to work on a car that drove it back. There was no plan. There was nothing. There was not the smell of a plan of getting a car. There was 0. And the next 4 too. So don't leave. Now, those are cars. They are not cheap. It's not fruit. Cars. No, don't depreciate the point. You get my point? I'm saying that because someone will say, well, sometimes people may give people fruit. Have they given you? They've given you. You know, wanted fruit and you didn't see it. It's like all fruit run from you for weeks. So the truth is this. I'm just making the point to say that you can have things that you did not labor for because the scriptures say so. That mindset that says if you must have, you must labor. You didn't get it from God. You know, I'm a great proponent of hard work. I constantly speak about it. I rebuke people very severely when I know they are lazy. I'm very opposed to laziness. I'm not talking about that you shouldn't labor and you want to eat. I'm talking about saying that the reason you cannot obey God or follow him is because you have to go and work. I can't be in church because I must go and work. I can't do this God thing because what are you talking about? And that work you're doing, how is it working for you? It's not so. God is able to supply all your need. He is able to. He can supply through you're going to work. But if he tells you like Elijah, sit down here, it is not working that will feed you. Do you understand? When God tells a person, stop, sit, don't move, you do what he says. Your provision is in the space God places you. This I have seen. I've been a hard worker, walking, going to work, faithful, walking. Then there are times God says, sit, son, sit. And I'm like, I need to get a job. I'm a family man. I have mouths to feed. I said, sit. You insist on not sitting. You waste your time. The small money you'd have used to add towards feeding, you use it for transport. After that, you're in need. You mustn't learn like that. If I said it from a book, you say, how did it happen? So we share our own stories. When he says sit, you sit. Say, this season is for sitting, bro. Yes, daddy. I'll sit. Good. I'd like you to eat the book of Malachi. So you eat it. Have you finished? Take a second helping. Have you finished? Get a notebook. Now take notes. That's what that time is for. Don't mess it up with distractions. Then another time. Do you understand this? It mustn't be filled with pain. Oh. There are people if pain is not involved. Some this pain of your pride. So embarrassing. How can I stay at home? I'm a man. Would you rather be in a hospital bed being a man with one leg up? You know that's still a man. When you poop, they come and clean you. You know you're still a man, oh, you still have male parts. Ah, no, God forbid. Then sit down on your own. Sit. I say you should stay in one place. I want to talk to you about what, God? Well, things like maybe your destiny, maybe slightly important things like why you were born, maybe light words like your calling, maybe matters about the end, judgment day, how it will go for you. You know, like you see those simple things. Did you hear that list of simple things? Did you hear? You want to write the end of all things. That's a few things, not as important as the price of Gary, but well, you know, why you were born, why you're here, the plans the small Almighty God has or had for you. Did I say what? I spotted. You're not the small Almighty God. Oh, is the big Almighty God? Oh, he's big. I thought he's like, you know how David had 7 brothers. Then after David is God. It's not talk, oh. You know, look at me. Blasphemy. How can you say God is small? How are you proving that he's big? You say something, you're like, I beg. Oh, I get where they go. Where they go? They are calling you to tell you about where everybody will go after everybody has gone where they normally go. Did you know that when the Almighty is calling you, he's talking about where they go, but not tomorrow, not next year, not in 25 years. in 10,000 years, when God says, where they go, that's what he's discussing. He's never, his matters are big, big, big. So please, if this God is the big almighty God, can you behave like he is? Have you learned anything today? Happy are you if you do it? I hope that those pieces of paper were not questions, but I've answered some. Oh yeah, read. Oh, how many did you get? Only two. Only two arrived for today. Good. Let me release myself.